Hey trainers, welcome back to Pokemon Deck Check. I would be Poke Dad. And once again, I am here without the Dancing Bear at first base. A lot of times when we go to these videos, he's still at baseball practice or something like that. But you know what? Us together, we can make this happen. We can make this work. Real quick, this is being brought to you by Ink Gaming, your answer to all your tabletop gaming needs. They're perfect if you need a playmat, dice bag, anything. They got you covered. Check out the link in the description below. Now, we're talking Rogue, off the radar. We hinted around it. I think we showed it off one game the other day. But the other night we tested it. So we're going to share the list with you guys, gals. It's super good, and it's so off everybody's radar, and it should be on the radar. So let's get into the list. 4 Tapu Koko, 1 Oricoro, 1 Zapdos, 1 Absol, 1 Mr. Mime, 1 Koko Prism, 1 Oranguru. So very, very straightforward Pokemon line there. Each one has a specific purpose. Tapu Koko is actually your main attacker. Zapdos is really good at picking off other stuff like Blaze Fawn, or it swings the prize trade. It's actually your heavy hitter. And we play several rescue stretchers, so definitely a way to get it back. If it is prized, I wouldn't worry too much because eventually you're going to take some big prizes with Koko to get to it. So. Mr. Mime, perfect in this deck. Your opponent cannot heal damage. They can't pick them up with Super Scoop Up, no Acerola. They're just stuck on the bench or in the active with lots of damage on them. Koko Prism to help reload energy. We do play, I think, 4 lightning, so he could be really useful late game in powering something up. Absol, we do sometimes want to get something stuck in the active, then we can just spread, flying flip. So, a nice one-of tech. Oranguru, we do go through cards pretty fast in this style of a deck, so we get a lot of value out of Instruct. It would be nice to have a second, but room is such a thing, and there's not room for a second monkey. So, now, interesting tech, Oricoro. 1 lightning, which we also use the stadium, so it could be a free attack. This attack does 30 damage to each of your Pokemon GX and EX, both yours and your opponent's. Well, we don't play any, so no problem there, but it's actually a really nice spread option if your opponent has several GX and EX. Now, the first thing y'all are going to say is, where's the Tapu Lele to move damage around? This is true. And we actually started with this list with Tapu Lele and a different energy count. Instead of the lightning, we had just counter. But what we found is we'll actually go up in prizes fairly quickly with Koko or Zapdos, and counter energy turned into dead cards. So we'd have to play either Psychic or Fairy, and that doesn't help us with the rest of our strategy. So it's very awkward playing the Tapu Lele promo that moves damage counters around. There is probably a way to build the deck, but I think you have to build it around that. Whereas this, it can take some big knockouts because we have Choice Band and all the Electro Powers, and then we play like 3 Electric Chargers to recycle. So if you were going to build a deck with Tapu Lele, I think you have to build the deck around. Your starting point is Tapu Lele. I'm going to move damage counters around and then build around it. I'm just going to go hard, fast, flying flip. And to do that, you can't be playing uh, counter energy. So um, that's it for the Pokemon line. Clean this up real quick. Forms of search: 4 Nespal, 3 Ultra, and 3 Acrobike. That gets it done right there. 7 forms of search, and then thinning with Acrobike. Also could be technically search, sort of. So that's it for the search options. Now we go into power boosters. 4 Electro Power, 3 Choice Band, and 3 Rechargers to get back all these. You're going to be looking to play a ton of these, get them back, Acrobike to thin, Instruct for more, and then we play our supporter count, kind of also adds damage modifiers. So, something to keep in mind. 3 Counter Catcher, because we are going to be doing spread quite a bit. We do want stuff trapped in the active, especially with Absol. Take full advantage of that. So, Energy Lotto. It helps our consistency since we only play a kind of a low count of energy. So, Lotto definitely helps us make sure that there's no hiccups in getting an energy. 2 Rescue Stretchers. Would be nice to have a third to just to ensure that we can streamline the Kokos, but here's the reality. We have 4 Kokos. If we get back 2 Kokos, that's 6 prizes. We lose. So you honestly don't need more than 2 Rescue Stretchers. Yeah, it'd be nice to have third in case one's prized, but you know what? We're taking prizes. Third's not needed. Switch Escape Rope mainly because Zapdos is still a very good attacking option, and so having some mobility, extra mobility in the deck does not hurt whatsoever. So that's it for the items. Of everything, I think what we've seen so far, 1 Counter Catcher maybe could be a decent cut, and then Escape Rope or Switch if you're not feeling those 2. So maybe there's 2 spots. Just to kind of keep in mind going forward. Draw Power, 3 Cynthia, 3 Lily. No Erica's Hospitality. I will get into that here in a sec. Extra damage modifier, Kukui. You'd be amazed. Flying Flip. You're doing your 20 to everything. Choice Band 50. Couple electric powers. All of a sudden you're at 80, 110, 130 with Kukui. And that's assuming you haven't done any other flying flips. So it adds up super quick. I think when we first kind of showed the deck, I played it to where I was able to take a huge knockout on Tapu Lele for the game or something, if I remember right, against the Dancing Bear. So the damage definitely racks up. Now, no Erica's Hospitality. The reason for that is once people see that your game plan is to just spread, and they can't ace or roll it up, they're going to start limiting what they put on their bench. And so Erica goes from really good in other decks to, well, if they know we're playing spread, then they're not putting stuff on their bench. So you're not seeing as many cards as you would, say, Lily. So that's the reason why no Erica. And finally, Shrine. Shrine, so good. So good. And you want the full 4. You do. You really do. Because that damage is just amazing how fast it racks up. It's pretty insane. Super good stadium. And then finally for the energy, like I talked about, it's pretty simple. 4 and 4. Now, you could make an argument of those being 4 counter energies, and then you could use the Tapu Lele spread option. But I think that at that point you turn this deck into something completely different. Because then you lose your kind of attacking options early game. Because, I mean, early game you could go in hard with Zapdos and get some KOs. And counter energy is not going to let you do that. So I think for this deck, I would not play Lele. I see the value in it. I understand. But I think in this current build, you don't want Tapu Lele. So that's all I got on this. The deck is super awesome, and I think we've showed it to you guys, gals, a few times now. So as you can see, it's a lot of fun to play, and it's really good. It's one of the best single prize attack decks out there. So definitely give it a try, and hope y'all enjoyed. Be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes.